I think, oh, we are live, sorry.
Wow. Thank you very much, Zimbabweans. Those we have managed to come back. We are back again, as I promised. But now the chief, pick a batch. There's something good that is happening here. It's a very important interview to me. That's why I am dressed the way I am. And I'm still with my co-host here, Barbara, a veteran trade unionist, and our guest here is also, I don't know if I should call him a veteran trade unionist, but he's a young man who has been a trade unionist for years. So yes, we can have a veteran who is still young, and it gives me, that vigor, a sense of pride that we have young men who are prepared to carry on the torch, young men who are prepared to fight, for democratization in Zimbabwe. We have here our young man, Trivanu Marimo, who is, like I said, a trade unionist. I'm going to give him a chance to explain, to tell you who he is. But let me welcome Barbara first, so that, ZCT UK, Comrade Barbara, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Chief. Yeah, Zulu sesibuyile like sike sathembisa ukuthi sizaphenduka njalo lo Chief Soshe. Yes, we are back again, our viewers and leaders and our viewers and listeners from Change Radio in Zim-I. As Chief has alluded to, we've got a trade unionist. He's not yet a veteran chief. He's still young. We don't want to promote him because tikakurumidza kumpromota anozokurumidza kuneta, because zvauya nazvo today he's brought something chiri vibe for my youth, and I think this one is gonna. Can you please tag all the youth ngavauye pano, even the youth, the MTC youth, the ZANU youth, zendu zenda ngadziuye pano, because we are going to hear you know what, Chief Comrade Tiri, I know him as a vibrant youth. You know, he used to inspire me when we were at ZCTU, when he's going to tell us what he was doing, but he used to inspire me. You know, he was I farira imwe saying, so angaine mahovhoro zake, so aipfeka angakanyorwa kumashure kuti hanzi amumondigoniba. I used to like that, you know, that such statements, Chief, they mean a lot. Kuti amumondigoni, kuti he knew kuti he is a fearless person, very brave, you know, courageous, and if we can have mayuth ari 100 akaita satiri, tinoikudubura hurumende iri kutadzisa vana vedu kuti vawane mabasa. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you very much, Barbara, and welcome to the program, Trivanu. We appreciate you being here. Please take a few minutes to just greet our viewers and listeners across the world.
Thank you. Greetings, viewers across the world. My name is Trivanu Marimo. I'm employed actually by a trade union called Zimbabwe Banks and Allied Workers Union, and I was I'm a former chairperson for youth for ZCTU, Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions. So I have good enough knowledge to speak to you about labor issues. I'm also a qualified legal practitioner, registered also in terms of the laws of Zimbabwe. So I can flow into labor matters, I can flow into legal issues. Yes, so I'm really, looking forward to this discussion.
I'm also looking forward to the discussion, and I'm sure our viewers are already looking forward to the discussion. So we are going to talk about ZCTU politics, labor politics, and we'll also touch on issues that are affecting the youth, obviously corruption being one of them, and we'll also talk about what is going on, the persecution of other youth in Zimbabwe, and of course, the convergence issue as we round up. But first things are first, Trivanu, a lot of people don't know about labor politics. So maybe many people don't even know about you. If you can go ahead and just tell the people who is Trivanu Marimo.
Okay. Yeah, myself, I'm a social democrat. I believe in democracy. I believe in solidarity, and I have been in the labor movement basically since 2008 when I joined the trade union. I was employed first from college at ZB Bank, and then from ZB Bank, I joined the trade union as an organized secretary, rose to then become a legal manager after finishing my law degree in 2016. So I'm currently a legal manager at Zibao. But I've been involved in a lot of solidarity with other progressive movements in Zimbabwe. All of them that you may know, talk about any of them, that Jamuka, whatever, hashtag this flag, whatever, all of them, students movement, teachers movements, I've been in solidarity with them because in my blood, I do not like injustice. So whenever I'm seeing anyone fighting injustice, I am attracted and I love to really fight with those that are fighting any form of injustice because I believe that God has given us this world to enjoy it and not to have any individuals, organizations, states persecuting anyone. So I've then had to even do my own one-man demonstrations. Zibao was not as radical as it is known now until I joined it. I caused many demonstrations after I joined it. It was previously a union of officials, people who really like, many workers in the banking sector, they have a certain level of education. You can't be in the banking sector if you're not qualified to a certain extent. So, but I demystified all that. And I started demonstrations against employers, which was not happening in the decades prior to time that I joined. And when I was seeing that if you had to call for many people to demonstrate, it would be probably a short space of time and they go back. So I decided to carry my own form of demonstrations in the banking sector where I would actually go and start. I would arrive at the banks, even earlier at some of those banks that I demonstrated against Stanbic Bank for victimizing a woman, a chairperson. And I carried 17 days of demonstrations in 2018 during the Women's Day celebration in March. And it was very successful because the employer had to call for a ceasefire through the workers' committee, and the woman was paid $30,000 then through one-man demonstration because it was effective. I would spend the whole day there displaying my placards whilst at that bank, and several other demonstrations that I carried out as a one-man. It will be in your mind that this institution is actually oppressing in a certain way that you are demonstrating against. I also did solidarity demonstrations, one-man demonstration against ZESA when it dismissed workers who whistleblowed against corruption that was happening in ZESA. And because those workers were dismissed and could not carry out demonstrations as those were going to be regarded as illegal, I then had to do those one-man demonstrations because I knew I could not be fired by ZESA, I'm not employed by them. And the security guards, they tried to push me out, but they failed up until they called ZRP to actually then intervene. ZRP to collect all the campaigning materials that I had. So those are some of the things that I do.
So,
because the ideology of really being against injustice.
So we thought Itai Dzamara, was the only one who was doing one-man demonstrations. We have young men that are still doing one-man demonstrations, even after what happened to Itai. Were you not afraid?
No, I wasn't afraid at all. The context basically was labor. For Itai, it was somehow viewed as him trying to fight against the reigning leadership in Zimbabwe. But I must say that that's where all the things are going right now in Zimbabwe, with the poverty that is actually continuing. Many people, remain disenfranchised, and there is high rate of unemployment. People are not able to sustain themselves. A lot of things that are happening even to those that are employed. There has been attacks to those that are even employed. You look at what happened from 2008 to 2009, where pensions were eroded and no actually compensation happened. The president that was there then never said anything to try and assist those pensioners whose pensions actually were eroded. The same thing happened whilst we were in Mount Currents in 2019, where Mutuli introduced a policy where Zim dollar was actually brought back. We were given another currency at 1:1 RTGS, and salaries, all the collective bargaining agreements of workers in Zimbabwe, which were in US dollars, were converted by a law by someone who is actually ruling. This is the ruling part. All the ministers, Minister of Finance was appointed by the president. President was from the ruling party, and they converted US dollar salaries of the workers into RTGS. Now it's a big issue. All the workers' salaries, because they started at 1:1 with the US dollar, they actually lied even prior to say bond and the US dollar is 1:1. Then they used the law to say it's no longer 1:1. It will actually now there's an auction which is 1:90 something, which means salaries at official rate were eroded by 960%, which means that it doesn't make sense for any worker, in Zimbabwe to say they have a job. They have a job, but someone is controlling how you are actually earning. It's difficult for employees to negotiate, with their employers to go back to US dollar salaries at the moment, because the government itself doesn't want to pay its employees, the civil servants, in US dollars. It's afraid of an obligation to pay in US dollars. It just wants to remain printing.
So the teachers are justified what they are doing, not going to work and going on strike, because they were earning $500 pre-Mnangagwa period. When Mnangagwa came in, that money was converted to 500 bond, but 500 bond is not equal to 5,000 to 500 US dollars. It can't.
It can't. And he actually begs to say, that's nonsense. You can't say in a country that can't even give mortgages. This country it can't give mortgages. This country it can't even do hire purchase. Why would one say, all these banks, they are afraid to give mortgages in RTGS dollar. They say it's the strongest currency in the region, but it's no longer. It was a lie. It's not possible. So all these things that are there, will show that workers are actually being oppressed. And as much as there was one-man demonstration for me against Zesa or whatever, but it looks like there's going to be many people demonstrating against the government because it's oppressing people. It's clear that it's not able to really assist the citizens. You look at its own employees, just the civil servant sector, just that. Let's forget about other things of education, health facilities, transport, and so forth. Let's talk about your own employees as the government. What are you doing to them? Are they happy? Your own employees, just your own employees. They're not happy.
Yeah, of course, they're not happy. Before I go to the issue of ZCTU, which is a big concern to me, let me allow Barbara to come in here.
my question, I think yanga ichida kwekupedzisira. I think you can go ahead, Chief, and this one I think it is we need to do it towards the end.
All right. Okay. Tiri, what happened at ZCTU? Because I mean, we have heard a lot of stories. I have had an interview with the former president Peter Mutasa, and you know, he was playing hide and seek with me. He didn't tell me what was going on, but we have information that at the elections, ZANU-PF used money to make sure that they put in an executive that is sympathetic to the government, you know, and obviously not for the people, not for affiliates of ZCTU. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you see, there's something that is impossible to hide. You know, you can't put a fire under a bed and think that it will really just won't be seen or noticed by anyone. It will start to burn things. ZANU-PF itself caused some smokes to be seen from under the bed of ZCTU after the conference, where it celebrated the incoming executive of ZCTU. That on its own, it's their own exposure. They expose themselves, and as much as you may have wanted me to say a lot of things which there's no need for me to say anything. Is there anything that someone is required to say really to show that ZANU-PF itself had some fingerprints on the just ended conference? No, there's nothing. Well, ZANU-PF itself celebrated. Why was it celebrating? It has never happened.
We are told they used millions of dollars to bribe people within the ZCTU and labor movement.
Yeah, that's actually something that was, it can be proved, in fact, for the record. That money was actually used for all the conferences. It can be proved. And on top of it, their own conduct after the conferences is a confirmation that they were involved. And probably I'm just here. This is an online platform, but that ZANU-PF was involved in all the conferences can be proved actually.
Wow. Okay. And moving on, you are a young man. You are youth, and of course, you are lucky that maybe you are employed. But many youth in Zimbabwe have never received a payslip. They've never received a paycheck. They've never worked anyway. They have degrees just like you, but they are not working. Maybe they may never work for the next 3 years. What can be your advice to the youth right now, the graduates, those who have graduated before, those who have just finished the school, high school, in reference to the current situation in Zimbabwe?
Yeah, you see, they may want to say I'm a born free because indeed I was born after 1980. But I was told and I believed that my elders or my leaders did something great, which was a liberation war. The principle hasn't changed. They must know. My advice to the youth who are unemployed right now is the principle of when you see oppression or feel it, if you are probably you don't have eyes, if you feel oppression, just know that there's someone who's causing that oppression. You need to identify that person who's causing that oppression and do like what they also did. They did the same thing that the youth are supposed to do right now. When oppression was rife in Zimbabwe through colonialism, they converged and they fought oppression. That's exactly what we need to do. We don't even care who is oppressing us. It doesn't matter. It's my father. You are the ones who are oppressing us. Why are we unemployed since 1980? There are no more jobs in here. Whoever was the colonizer, they went with their jobs. That's seemingly what happened. And after 1980, we thought we are going to see things improving. But it looks like the oppressor now has got the same scheme and the same principle, the same concept of when we see oppression, what do? We revolt, we fight. That's what our youth are supposed to do. Youth are supposed to come together and fight the oppressor, because the oppressor is now my father, the same person whom I'm supposed to look up to. They are the ones that are actually oppressing us. We thought they fought the liberation war for me to benefit, for us, the children, to benefit, for us, the youth, to benefit. But it looks like they fought for themselves. Because if you are to see their lifestyles, they eat 3-course meal and they eat
Yeah,
prawns.
that was what I was going to ask you about, the corruption, that is so rife in Zimbabwe. When they talk, they say it's the sanction that is killing the economy in Zimbabwe. But I'm sure you can talk more about the issue of corruption.
Yes, corruption is actually killing this country. And the issue that I was just about to say, where it looks like they fought for themselves, they don't care about any other citizen, any other child of Zimbabwe. They don't care about all of them. They care about themselves, because the way they want all the resources of this country to belong to them only, it's amazing. It's clear. We see it. They actually celebrate it. And the Mnangagwa, was saying zero tolerance to corruption, but that's not what is happening. It looks like people who are corrupt, are the friends of the ruling part. Many of them seem to be even from the ruling part, which is not good for the youth of Zimbabwe. This country is for all of us, and you can't have, even when the President Mugabe was still there, they confirmed they lost 15 billion. How was it lost? Minerals that are supposed to benefit everyone are benefiting few individuals. And what they do is they don't even invest in this country. They invest in properties in other countries. So the wealth that is supposed to benefit everyone in here, when you can want popular gold or popular diamond, there will be people from ZPF there, or even people, soldiers, manning those places. We don't even know after that what then happens. Is that going to benefit everyone in the country? No, it's not going to benefit everyone in the country. It's few individuals will then own those claims, and the money will not be going to the fiscus of the country. So we are saying there must be a real zero tolerance to corruption, not just to talk about zero tolerance to corruption when people are continuously walking free even after having been, reported to have been corrupt. So this country, I would want to say, has got enough to cater for everyone. Those people that are unemployed should actually be given unemployment benefits whilst they're still at home. But the wealth is being, controlled by few individuals, and they're doing all sort of things to make sure that they control. They use legal means to ensure that they control, all the means of production in Zimbabwe, areas that matter in Zimbabwe, which is something that we as the youth will say we are going to revolt against this system that is happening, because no one is talking about it. And we have to take ownership about our future, because there is no hope that once the ZANU-PF is still in power, we're going to be employed, we're going to relax, and we're going to actually enjoy, the same benefits that are being enjoyed by those people that call themselves the liberators, war heroes of Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm. And now, before I allow Leader Barbara to come in, or you can come in now, because I want to talk about the convergence when you have asked your question, Barbara. Barbara, can you hear me? Oh, your network is playing up. Let's talk about the convergence, Trivanu, as a solution, as a way forward, to all these problems that we are seeing. What are your thoughts on what President Chamisa has been calling, upon all Zimbabweans, youth, the old, the, teachers, nurses, doctors, those in the diaspora, vendors, anyone he has been talking about convergence. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a wise and inspired call, because the convergence is not even necessary to those that are unemployed or to those that are not in the ruling party. Even people who are in ZANU-PF, majority of them, some of them are even struggling. Some of them are even equally oppressed now. They're even equally feeling the heat and pinch of bad leadership. And this time, I think the call that has been made by President Nelson Chamisa of MDC Alliance is an important noble call, where we must, as a nation, say no to something that is oppressing us. There is need really for everyone to converge, to support the convergence call. As long as you are a Zimbabwean who is fed up with getting RTGS, and for you to be able to buy, you have to run around, try to convert it and get US dollars for you to be able to purchase. Everyone is affected with that kind of procedure. Just because there are certain people in power who don't really want to just make a correct and right decision, a decision that they know that if they had to make this decision, it will help everyone else. They just don't want to make correct decisions. They know the decisions. So all these policies that are being made financially, which will end up oppressing people, it's not like these professors are not professors at all. They know the solutions, but they know that the solutions will not benefit their corruption, will not fuel their greed, will not help them to continue stealing. That's why they want to make some other things, some other decisions, some other policies. So those policies are now, they now end up affecting majority of the citizens. It's only a few, a clique of people who benefit from the bad leadership that is there. And those that are benefiting are the ones that would want the status quo to continue. But I will tell you that majority of the people right now are fed up with these deliberate wrong decisions that are being made by people that are in the ruling party. So there is really need for people to converge wherever you are from, whichever church you are from, whichever political party you are from, even from ZANU-PF itself. There are many people in ZANU-PF who don't even benefit anything because they're not close to the schemes. Some of the laws that are put, they're not even for the citizens. They don't benefit anyone. They benefit very few people because it will be strategic for them to be able to milk the country. So everyone must converge and say no to whoever is making the decision. Those we know is ZANU-PF and its people and its puppets who have been made ministers, and ZANU-PF and its leadership who are in government are the ones that are actually causing this country to be at a standstill. And we must say no as a nation.
Wow, wow. Thank you very much for that, Barbara.
Yes, thank you so much, Chief. My phone today is acting up. I just have got two questions for Comrade Thiri. The first question being, I want to hear what Comrade Thiri heard. Most people from Labour now, they are saying Labour should not be involved in politics. And I've heard people saying, "Tasakajiwa nekuti aita zvepolitics." What am I missing here? Because inini, when I was still active in trade unionism, I had an opportunity of mingling and mixing.
Yeah, but I read the direction of the question.
But what's where she was going?
Yes,
You can go ahead.
yes. The question basically is to ask whether labor is divorced from politics. The answer is no. It's not possible. How can labor be divorced from politics when politics itself is about who gets what and when? And we know that whatever many decisions have been done, I have already even indicated some of the decisions that have been done at the political level, a political policy level of a ruling party, which have come down to affect the wages and salaries of those that are formally employed. It's clear that politics and labor are just one and the same thing. They just interplay. If someone is able to make a decision that can change your collective bargaining agreement that you have with your employer, and you say politics is something that we must not talk about, in
Yes.
labor. It's all nonsense. You are down, you are ignorant of what you are supposed to be actually knowing. The truth is, Mutuli Nuwe in 2019 in February pushed through a policy through ZANU-PF that said RTGS dollar will be introduced, and US dollar and RTGS will actually start at 1:1, and everyone who had US dollar debt, it was regarded as RTGS debt at 1:1 with US dollar. Everyone who had salary in US dollar was regarded as RTGS at 1:1 and with US dollar. And what happened after that in February 2019? Inflation, it started to depreciate, and those salaries were depreciating. Collective bargaining is not easy. Person who had $500, probably $500, earning $500 in February 2019, in December, probably they were still earning $500. But the rate was no longer 1:1. It was around 1:25. It means the $500 had been devalued by 250%. So it was that person was earning half of US dollars that they were earning in February just by a policy, a law that was actually published through a policy that was agreed at ZANU-PF level through austerity measures. Austerity measures were not introduced by employers. So if you want to say, I know I will just deal with my employer, when whatever you'd have agreed with your employer, someone in government is coming to actually attack, you're stupid, you're a fool. Imagine a pensioner who are supposed to, well, some of them, they have, at that time, they had what do we call a defined benefit. You were supposed to be given by a pension fund 50,000 US dollars on retirement. But because of that policy, that person was given 50,000 RTGS, and it was lawful for the pension fund to do that to the pensioners. The pensioners were weak. The whole country was silent. So there's need for convergence to fight against such policies. We must not allow such oppressive policies to be made, and we just keep quiet. That's not correct. It's a misnomer. When someone is oppressing, the second thing, the next thing that must happen must be a revolt against such oppression. So people think that in Zimbabwe, the citizens are afraid of the government, and probably the government has been riding on that theory to say they are afraid of us. They know that we will kill them. But there will come a time where people say, "Kusiri Kufande, you have killed me already. I'm a moving corpse." And people will come into this, because the majority of the people are being put and parceled and packaged into such a state where they will say, "Kusiri Kufande." So labor and politics, these are
they are one and the same. You can't separate. You can't separate.
And we have evidence to show that we can't separate this.
Well, Tiri, as we round up this discussion, your last words to the people of Zimbabwe that are listening, and to the youth, and of course, when are we going to see your next one-man demo?
Yeah, I think everything is now, in the pipeline. No one can stop a one-man demonstration, because you can't even use any law to say, it's illegal. Even they've repealed POSA, there's now MOPA, but still one-man demonstration will remain a classical thing. So anytime you can even see things coming through. But to the youth of Zimbabwe, I would want to say, Agumana, guys, comrades, friends, ladies, gentlemen, vakomana vatiratidza kuti vakazvirwira ivo. They don't care about us. We must care for ourselves. Whatever they've been doing, they were doing it for themselves. That's what we have realized now, because we thought they were going to show us, at least by policies or something that shows that they really care for us. But if they continue stealing, they're stealing for us, because the future is ours. And when they steal from us and invest in other countries, it means we can't even get anything. So we have to take ownership, support the convergence, and fight against every oppression, because we are right now where we are with this poverty that is actually now entrenched because of people that are making decisions to create poverty. Poverty that we have has been created by people. They made decisions to create poverty. And as the youth, we must say no to such type of leadership that create poverty for its citizens when they actually are in a position to create wealth for the citizens. So as the youth, we must come together and fight oppression. We have been oppressed. There are certain other decisions that have been made. Even the revolt is actually outstanding. It's overdue because there are many decisions that have been made consecutively, and we have done nothing. They have taken advantage of the lockdowns, but we can't be locked down continuously because if you are locked down in your house, you have got nothing to eat. What does the lockdown help you? Why we should have refused all that. They were taking ownership of the COVID when they don't even know about it. It didn't start in Zimbabwe, and they were trying to implement even drastic actions, trying to copy what other countries were doing, which can't apply in Zimbabwe. We are poor. Those countries were able to feed their own people. They were able to pay handouts for their own people. What about this country? They were not able. So we can't accept to be locked down as a strategy to cow people down. So as the youth, we must come together. Everyone who is oppressed must come together and say no to the oppressor. The oppressor is known. It's ZANU-PF.
Wow, wow. There you are, our viewers and listeners. We are speaking to a young unionist here, a young leader, Trivanu Marimo, formerly with the ZCTU, and he bared it all in as far as what we need to do. And on our part, we'll continue to talk to like-minded forces, like-minded organizations that will eventually join the convergence. We've heard President Chamisa calling for a convergence, Zimbabweans coming together for their freedom, Zimbabweans coming together for change. And I'm glad here that we have young men in the trade union that are prepared to risk all and be part of the convergence and make sure that we change or we get Zimbabwe to change. And the youth begin to enjoy their birthright. Thank you very much, Trivanu. We appreciate you. And to our viewers and listeners who have been listening, thank you so much. Let's continue to share this video so that it inspires the youth next door or the youth who is going to look at it again. Barbara, your phone has been letting you down, and we have just rounded up here. Thank you very much for being here. Maybe we need to do a fundraiser to get you a new phone.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I think the question that I wanted to ask Tiri, I think he has already included it. He was recently going about hashtag the less bounds youth. So I think I asked Bata kuti what he thinks the role of the youth regardless of a political affiliation. Kuti it is only the youth chief that can bring back sanity to Zimbabwe because isusu madhara taneta ende kurwa kwedu hatichina shungu because taneta we think kuti ZANU-PF is irremovable. Some people say kuti we can never remove ZANU-PF out of power, but I think the youth, that's why Joshua Nkomo said kuti Zimbabwe will never perish. The youth will rescue them. So this is the time when the youth are supposed to rescue Zimbabwe, because what they went to war for is not yet achieved, Chief. They are doing exactly what Smith regime was doing to them when they had not gone to fight for the liberation of this country. So I think we are in a phase where the youth should start this revolution and fight for their rights, fight for their future. Because ZANU-PF, not my youth, they are leaders of tomorrow. But issues we in the MDC, we believe that youth are the leaders of today, not tomorrow. Because if you say tomorrow, iwo wanamunakago wakapinda wari mayouth, but ezvinezvi amadhara varongoramba varimo. Hatisana muyouth wezano anombopiwawo mukana kuti iwepi, even maministers chaiwo. Hatisandaona mayouth achiappointwa neuwandu hwavo as ministers or MPs. Vari kungobrowirerwa pasi nemadhara. So I think he has summed it all. And I'd want to say to Tiri, he's right, he's in the right direction. You know, the way he continues to fight, it means he was not there for positions. He was the national youth chair or national chairperson for the young workers. We call them young workers in labor. But the term of office yake yakapera because he's over 35. Otherwise, if he was not over 35, I know for one, Kutitiri was going to get a second term because he worked very hard. He changed the youth, the young workers in the labor movement. He was vibrant, even international. He raised the flag of Zesty too high. So I just want to say to Tiri, he must continue doing what he's doing. And I would also maybe recommend this hashtag let's bounce youth must not end here. He must take it further and be a movement of the day so that he can convince more youth to be part of this movement. Thank you.
Powerful. Thank you very much, Tawoneka Kare. Tiri, we'll catch up with you again and hear what you're saying. And please, next time when you're doing a one-man demo, let us know so that we can cover it.
Very much.
Yes, to our viewers, thank you once again. We appreciate you. Until we meet again next time, God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Simba